Hello YouTube, this is Sergio Cordova with Avid Rock Productions. The reason why I'm making this video is because I was very interested in the Sigma 16mm 1.4 aperture lens, and I saw a lot of reviews on YouTube, and it was mounted onto the A6500 or the A6300, and I didn't see anything for the full frame cameras like the A7RII and the A7S2. And this is why I'm doing this review. Now, the reason why I am interested in this crop sensor lens for the full frame cameras is because, number one, on the A7RII, the image quality is a lot better when it shoots in Super 35 mode. So it's already cropping, it's only taking a portion of the sensor. So putting an APS-C lens on this camera is perfectly fine. For the A7S2, it wouldn't work as well when you are recording 4K. However, I do need a lens that's going to record well, and a fast lens when I'm recording in 1080p at 120 frames per second for slow motion. I found that even with the G Master, the 24-70 2.8, it just wasn't fast enough. I'd get a lot of graininess in my video when I was shooting 1080p at 120. I do shoot a lot in low light. The type of videos that I'm making are in low light, so I needed something faster than the 2.8. Now, I also needed something that was going to have a wide angle. When I shoot 1080p at 120 frames per second with the Sigma 16mm lens, it actually turns it into a 24mm lens. However, that's perfectly fine. It's still wide enough for what I need it for. Just as a note, I also have the 10-18 lens from Sony, and when I put it on the A7RII, it makes it about a 16mm lens. What I'm shooting with right now is I have the Sony A7RII with the Sigma 16mm 1.4 aperture lens. It's shooting right now at 640 ISO. The A7S2 has the slowest lens of all that I'm shooting with right now. It has the Carl Zeiss 16-35mm lens, and I have it set at 6400 ISO. The little brother A6500 has the Sony 28mm f.2 lens, and if I didn't mention, the A7S2 is shooting at 6400 ISO. Now, it has the slowest lens because the Sony A7S2 is supposed to be the king of low light, so giving it that disadvantage would be fair, I would think. So the A6500 has the 28mm f2 lens, and it's shooting at 2000 ISO. A little bit of a spoiler here. I realized that the A6500 with the 28mm f2 looks really good. It performed exceptionally well, to my surprise, in low light situations. And if you actually look at the cost of that camera plus lens, we're looking at maybe $1,650, $1,650, compared to the A7S2 as I have it set up now, which is originally the camera cost me $3,000. The lens was around $1,350, so we're talking about $4,350 for the A7S2 with a 16-35. And originally the A7RII, I know it's on sale now because of the release of the A7RII, but it originally cost me $3,200 plus tax, and it has a $450 lens mounted onto it. So when we actually take a look at the video from all three cameras, I'm gonna say that A6500, for the price and the lens it has, really surprised me. My general impressions about the Sigma 16mm f1.4, I think it's a great lens for the price. It's a very fast lens for the price. From the video you're going to see, it's going to be extremely sharp. I think I'm going to purchase another one. I would recommend it for the A7RII because, again, you're shooting in Super 35 or crop mode, so the lens would work perfectly well with it. I would only recommend it for the Sony A7S2 if you're using it for 1080p 120 frames per second, or if you're using it for slow motion shots. It's fast enough so you won't get graininess in your footage, and I'll add some additional videos here with the Sigma lens mounted onto the A7S II. And overall, I think the A6500 is just a great camera for the price. I think that I would probably sell one of my, either the A7R II or the S2, and purchase two more A6500s. The reason why I need so many cameras is I do a lot of live videos with bands, so I like to set up a camera per instrument player. I've seen a lot of people that use decent cameras like the S2 or the R2 for the singer, and then they have a bunch of GoPros installed, and I just don't think that's good enough. It's unacceptable. That's the reason why I need to have the proper cameras set up so that I can get decent image quality out of all the musicians. Anyway, I hope this review helped. Again, thumbs up on the Sigma 16mm 1.4. I currently have one now, and I think I'll be purchasing another just to use and have in my back pocket in case I need to have that additional low light functionality. Right now the Sony S2 is struggling to focus. Let me help it out. There we go. And the A6500 is focusing well. So again, this is very dark right now. I probably would say that this is what my eye sees right now with all three cameras. Let's do another. Now I do have the slowest lens on the Sony A7S II. Again, it's an f4 lens, the 1635 Carl Zeiss lens. However, it's supposed to be a low light beast, right? So what I'm trying to see is how the Sigma 16mm f.4, how that video footage compares to the low light beast in the A7S II with a much lower lens. And also we have the little baby brother there, the A6500 with a faster lens at 2.0. Right now the Sony S2 is struggling to focus. Let me help it out. Here we go. And the A6500 is focusing well. So again, this is very dark right now. I probably would say that this is what my eye sees right now with all three cameras. Let's do another. Now I do have the slowest lens on the Sony A7S II. Again, it's an f4 lens, the 1635 Carl Zeiss lens. However, it's supposed to be a low light beast, right? So what I'm trying to see is how the Sigma 16mm f.4, how that video footage compares to the low light beast in the A7S II with a much lower lens. And also we have the little baby brother there, the A6500 with a faster lens at 2.0. Right now the Sony S2 is struggling to focus. Let me help it out. There we go. And the A6500 is focusing well. So again, this is very dark right now. I probably would say that this is what my eye sees right now with all three cameras. Let's do another. Now I do have the slowest lens on the Sony A7S II. Again, it's an f4 lens, the 1635 Carl Zeiss lens. However, it's supposed to be a low light beast, right? So what I'm trying to see is how the Sigma 16mm f.4, how that video footage compares to the low light beast in the A7S II with a much lower lens. And also we have the little baby brother there, the A6500 with a faster lens at 2.0. We're going to switch it up a bit now. This is recording the Christmas tree. Again, we have very low light in the room. But that's the whole point of this test. Alright, we're going to switch it up a bit now. This is recording the Christmas tree. Again, we have very low light in the room. But that's the whole point of this test.
Alright, we're going to switch it up a bit now. This is recording the Christmas tree. Again, we have very low light in the room, but that's the whole point of this test.